history to see this, but I think it's really pathetic to look for justifications of that kind. So the big problem became whether you're going to throw out the baby with the bathwater, whether what Judaism was in the process of this reform was going to be, I mean, I don't have the solutions personally. I'm not saying that I'm a genius and have the solutions. I don't. I do research, as you know, in the Second Temple period and the birth of Christianity, because I think that's the most interesting period in terms of trying to sort out some of these issues of the world that have somehow gotten confused, to put it mildly. And if we can sort out, I guess I'm in the historical school, we can sort out some of those problems, and then maybe we can start to sort out some of the other problems. But I don't have the answers, but I know that the answers these people propounded are almost ludicrous, or ridiculous. And I think Jacobson is pathetic. And even though my mother wouldn't even know there was a Jacobson, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. I mean, she didn't know anything. She just knew who she was, but that's all. She just went and did things because she was told to do things, that's all. She never thought about it or considered it or went through an intellectual process. She just was what she was, Miss Princess, and that's it. And spoiled and so on and so forth, but you know, doted on, etc. But there was no intellectual process that ever took place, which is fine, and that's why she's living to 100 years old, because she doesn't have any doubts. She doesn't have any questions. She doesn't have anything. My son goes to see her and he just can't believe that he has a grandmother like that. He said, I can't imagine, you know, I mean, she has no second thoughts about anything. She has no, she doesn't question anything. She has no indecision on anything. So anyway, that's German Judaism. How they got there, I don't know. I think Heine is similar to that and others. But Geiger is one of the most important proponents of these things. And I really do think that Geiger lived a long time in Germany. He was a very famous scholar. I worked on him when I was doing my master's and my doctorate, not realizing the effect that he had on the development of Reform Judaism in Germany, and that a lot of the work that he was doing intellectually was a product of his Science of Judaism school and his academic activities. Like he wrote a book that I was met when I was doing my master's. What has Mohammed aus dem Juden genommen? What did Muhammad take from the Jews? Which really is a handbook of the Jewish influences on Islam. So he would do scholarly studies of that kind. I don't even know if it's been translated into English. I suppose it has. I don't remember if it has or it has not. By this time it must have been. So anyway, he is from 1810 to 1874. He's the leader of what we call the Jewish Science Movement of Frankfurt. He originally came from an Orthodox family. And by 1829, he got a degree in classic languages at Heidelberg, you know, foremost German university. Then he went to Bonn. He wrote the Muhammad essay that's referred to in your book here in 1832. And he finally got a rabbinical position in Wiesbaden. These are all German towns. And he resigned because he, he resigned, I think, because I think it was over the issue of choral music. I'm not sure if he was for or against it, but I think he was probably for it. Anyway, he ultimately started one of these academic journals called the Journal of Jewish Theology. And I guess he was for the choral music. And then he went to another German town further in the east called Breslau. It was later in East Germany. He introduced the sermon there. He introduced the vernacular, German language and prayer, robes. So just like Jacobson had done 30 or 40 years ago in Season. I guess you'd say 40 years ago. So he wanted to actually start a rabbinic seminary, which is what finally was brought to America. I'll tell you about it in a moment. And this Zachariah Frankel, the one I just mentioned, was chosen as its head, but he finally got the post himself in 1872. In any case, he died in 1874. But you know, this is a real scholar, but he's a scholar with an edge. He's influenced by Hegel and Krugman, and his approach is evolutionary. His view is that each age had to deviate from the preceding one, and you have to venerate the present, the zeitgeist, if you like, of the present, not the past. Revelation for him was not a supernatural phenomenon, and we were now in this third period, this post-Talmudic period. We've got a biblical period, a Talmudic period, and we're now in a post-Talmudic period. And this begins with Mendelssohn. And what we had to do was to free Jewish life from the precepts and regulations that were against the spirit of the age. Judaism for him, or for Orthodox Judaism rather, as he saw it, was a discipline of life, not a mere creed. Laws that gave it, like Mendelssohn said, a natural character. Anyway, according to Geiger, what you needed a tradition, but you also had to develop the ideals that are expressed in the prophets, and you had to get rid of some of these, you know, primitive ideas. Even circumcision, I think, he thought could be abolished as something a little barbarous, a holdover of the sacrifice position. He was against a dog-like adherence to Jewish law. So you can see the influence of Mendelssohn here, but it's being pushed much further. So we can therefore surrender, according to him, the ethnic characteristics of the religion. So he deleted the prayer for the return to Zion from the Breslau prayer book in 1854. And instead he inserted a prayer for the millennium of mankind. The same, you know, the same pie in the sky, hopeful future that all people would be brothers, blah, 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 that we've already seen started at the Season school. There was some Hebrew language in the liturgy, but not obtrusive. And he loved German hymns, and he felt that history had pronounced its judgment on Hebrew. That is, it was a dead language, and it wasn't, you know, something that needed to be used.